Morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Morning Pages. This is my second time live streaming across multiple platforms, so bear with me. I think my settings were a little off yesterday. I think I was streaming at 60 frames per second, which is a little high for my current state of bandwidth, and at 720p. So right now I'm at 1080 and at 30 frames per second. So for you video tech nerds out there, that's the setting I'm using, and that was my default on regular OBS, but now I'm using Streamlabs OBS. But anyways, you can forget about all of that because we're not here to talk about my settings. We're here to make some music. So today's music prompt is: you are looking out over a vast landscape. And yeah, it kind of came to me this morning as part of a dream, and then also I'm starting to plan travel again after a couple of years of pretty much staying home here in the studio, which isn't a bad place to be. Got a lot of work done, but I'm starting to itch a bit to get out and see the world a bit. Hey, Seo Veris. Great to see you here live. Let me know in the chat if there's anything you wanted to see specifically. Yeah, and thank you so much for all of the support coming all the way from the UK. Yeah, one of these days I hope to come out to the UK, maybe next summer actually. So so stay tuned, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. And again, I will periodically look over at the chat, so if you guys had any questions or comments or wanted to see something more in depth, please let me know. But otherwise, I'm gonna just follow our music prompt today of you are looking over a vast landscape. So keep that in mind. And then the other thing too is if you are in the studio right now, or if you have your DAW fired up, feel free to just mute me and make your own composition and send it over my way. I'd love to hear it. So let's go ahead and get started. And yeah, right now you're listening to the Moog Matriarch right here playing a little arpeggio. I've got my play and my hold ons, and all I did was play 2 C notes, but I could also switch out the pitch amount to give it some weirdness. Oh, thanks. Yeah, dude, that would be awesome. One of these days, let's collaborate and make some music. So Seo Veris right now is watching from YouTube, so I don't know wherever you guys are watching from. I'm right now streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So yesterday I offboarded off of Twitch's affiliate program, and it's mainly because I wanted to start expanding my reach out to YouTube and Facebook as well. So, and I think it's been a good thing, because in terms of revenue that comes with the affiliate program, I was making just like a few cents a day. So I think this is probably a good choice. But at any rate, let's go ahead and get started. Landscapes. Let's start off with a maybe like an epic sounding pad. So instead of trying to program something, I think what I might do is use a VST. So let's go to Ableton Live. I've got my VST track here. I actually do like this little patch here as well. so we won't forget about it. I am going to mute my radio app. And yeah, look at, here's Pigments. Although, if we want to get really epic, let's see if we can, let's swap this out for Complete Control. Right now, this is in C, so I'm wondering, let's choose our scale right now. Well, not our scale, let's choose our root note. Let's go into G, let's do G. And for this, actually, I'm gonna just go ahead and search all instruments. And, you know, we live in a world of Google search, so let's go ahead and use the search tool and just put in landscape. Landscape Mystic. Let's see what this is from. Oh, it's on Scanner. I guess I can't find Scanner. Oh. The reason is because I would need to plug in my hard drive. Plug this in. I've got an external hard drive right here that has all of my the sampled sounds from Contact and some of the other VSTs and tools that take up a lot of space. Right now I've got a terabyte on my computer, but I'm pretty stingy when it comes to storage space. I always like to keep maybe at least 10 to 20% of it free. Okay, so let's see. I have some loose pots over here. But let's retry this. Oh, I guess I can't find it. Okay, so how about let's type in epic. No? Is nothing coming up? Nature. Okay, well, let's look for pads. That's odd. I think maybe because I just plugged in, maybe I'll have to reset. Let me take that out and we'll bring it back in. So right now this is Complete Control. I'm using Complete 10, which is 3 generations back. So that could also be the thing. I'm on the M1 Max right now. The landscape. Yeah, see, it doesn't show up anymore. I might have to re-index everything. Okay, well, let's go ahead and... Oh yeah, look at... Where did all of my... Okay, well, it looks like all of my instruments kind of disappeared. So, but I do like Vocalise. Let's go ahead and use Vocalise. And let's just see what we can come up with in terms of like pads. So Vocalise is a contact-based instrument that samples actual vocals. This is Vocalise 1. There's actually Vocalise 2, maybe 3 too. Let's get this thing real epic. Let's come up with a let's find our scale. That's Dorian. Yeah. Indexing contact and just complete. I would try it right now, but I think it would probably take forever. You're right, Seo. By the way, should I call you Seo? Is that how you pronounce that? Okay. Yeah, it's kind of heavenly. So let's stick with this. This is Mixolydian right here. Kind of reminds me of OMD for some reason. Oh, hey, David. Okay, cool. Now I know your first name. Awesome. Let's try a couple of these other... We can go through some of these presets. So maybe the short... No, I'm looking for a pad. Maybe a motion swell? No, maybe I like that. The first one we did, which is just the ensemble of all of them. That one. Let's see how this one sounds. Some level issues, but what's playing right now? Okay, so I'm running into this problem again where my tempo isn't going along with my captured notes. This looks okay. Let's actually, maybe that's started all the way at the beginning. Let's work with what we have right now. Oh man, David, you know, OMD is still going strong. They might tour again, actually. I've never been able to see them live. That's one of my dreams, is to go see them. And actually, talking of the 80s, this next tour of Erasure's tour will be the first one that I don't go to since maybe the 90s. They're coming out to San Francisco. I might actually fly out there for that, but yeah, I don't have any plans. I mean, due to the pandemic, I'm not ready to go out and really see shows. Although I do plan on finding some live performance opportunities for myself. So I guess I should put my money where my mouth is. I don't really like this. Okay, let's go ahead and... So right now what I did was I put the... I've got my clip in scale view here in Live 11. This is a new feature where you can... and in fact, if you have a push too, they work hand in hand. But if you've got your push in a certain scale and root note, you can go into your clip view here and press scale and activate the scale in the clip, and then everything that you see in your piano roll will be in that scale with that root note, which is really useful if you're someone like me who didn't pay attention too well during music theory. Move all these guys back. We can have like a little, well, I pressed these notes really lightly on there. And you can see this is really velocity sensitive. So, and the reason why I'm spending a lot of time on these pads is I think this will be the backbone of our song today. Oh my gosh, I would love to see any of their, yeah. I take it back. I didn't really see OMD, but one of them, I think it was Paul Humphreys of OMD, formed a band with the woman from Propaganda. Anyways, they formed a duo called 1-2, and they opened up for Erasure during their Tomorrow's World Tour, and I got to catch them, and that was actually in the UK, at Oxford. Yeah, it was in Oxford. Pretty cool. Oh, you got an M32 complete. Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, Live 10 is awesome too. And if you use any tools like CliffX, then Live 10 is the way to go. There are a couple of Max for Live devices and a couple of other instruments that still don't work in Live 11. And they're mainly the ones that are made by kind of the independent software makers. So I am missing CliffX, although I wasn't really adept at using it, but I kind of miss that, especially for live performance. But yeah, let me know what you think of the Native Instruments stuff, that the NI Jam. I like how that thing looks. I think that's the one with the touch strip faders. I was looking at that. So let's get all of these in time. And these pads kind of come in real slow. The attack is really slow, so I don't mind any of these notes really kind of being out of sync. Or off the grid. Oops. C. And maybe we'll have a really low C over here. I wonder how it would sound actually with if we just droned the G. Oh, it doesn't even go down that low. This one actually doesn't even go down that low either. Okay, so we got 20 bars here. And maybe what I'll do is I'm gonna put in a little 4 on the floor action here. So we can kind of get an idea of the tempo. And I actually do like this 118. Oh, cool. Oh, the chord wave state. Are you talking about the VST version? The one that comes with version 3? actually, I do have, I have the Korg Legacy Collection. Let me put in another instance. I'm gonna duplicate this. So we've got 2 instances of the VST, and what I'll do is, let me put in, and I'm not sure if you're talking about the, what do they call it, Wave Station. But they have kind of similar sounds. Is this the one you're talking about? Oh, is the wave, oh, so the wave state is the, that hardware synth, right? That, I think it might be based off of the Wave Station. Oh my gosh, this interface is so small now. Let's play these guys together. African Sunset. I remember this preset. This is starting to sound real 90s. You know, just introducing this Wave Station really gives it kind of that 90s feel. You hear that? It's like very like FM, kind of like the DX7. I've got the DX7 up here. I would have to be a lot tighter though with my MIDI notes here, just because of the sharper attack. I think it's okay to have a little bit of variation. Let's try a couple of these other ones. I know that they had some real landscapey sounds. I wonder if I can. So they have this banjo sound, and that. But what I can do is maybe I'll put an arpeggiator on here. I'm gonna put an arpeggiator. Thanks for saying that. That's really nice of you. I don't feel that way most days. So we got a little like banjo pluck. Actually, I like this. This is just the standard arpeggiator, and on the default setting, it sounds pretty good. But what I want to do is, on this track, maybe I'm gonna add in the H9 pedal. So the H9 pedal is down here. I don't know if my camera's still on. It is, okay. So this is the H9 pedal. I'm going to put in some So, I mean, this really changes the sound, but I don't want it to be... Oh yeah, maybe something like this. Actually, instead of using the hardware version, I'm going to use the software version just to give me a, it's a little bit easier to sync. So, and I remember, David, you were talking about the H9 plugins here. Oh, yeah, cool. So, yeah, so I've got the H9 hardware pedal, as you know, but again, like these, I can't hear the difference between the pedal and the software version. The only thing with the software is you don't get all of the algorithms, but you get all the ones that I use mostly. So I'm gonna turn off my external audio effect. And it's so much more convenient because having these as VSTs, you don't have to carry the pedal around. And see, like all you have to do for the software version, I mean, it looks pretty similar, the interface. And you get all of these same presets. And actually, let's go ahead and compare the two and see if you can hear the difference. So this is the bottomless drop. Okay, this is hardware. Okay, here's the software. I mean, the levels are a little different. Just because of the way I have everything wired in. Let's match it though. It's subtle. Yeah, so the H9 VSTs do not come with the H9. But earlier in the year, Eventide offered the VSTs for free to H9 users as a promotion. So maybe you could wait for, if you wait for that, then maybe that's a good time to get it, because then you'll get, you can get the pedal as well as the VSTs. But I will say that I think they stopped making the core version, which is the cheaper version with not as many algorithms. They only make the, what do they call this? The full version, which is quite a bit more expensive. So if you don't use every single algorithm, it might not be worth it. And then that also kind of tells me that they might be phasing it out. So I don't know, read Future Music or some of the trades or some of the forums online to see if they're thinking of coming out with a newer type of all-in-one effects pedal. So yeah, between the two, I can't really hear the difference. So I'm going to use the VST version. but here's the thing. So like if you get the H9, then, oh yeah, that's what it is, H9 max. If you get an H9, then you can only use one algorithm at a time, right? With the VST version, also check out Black Friday, at least for the VST versions of the H9. With the VST versions, you can stack as many instances as you want. So I'm gonna add this micro pitch, but I'm also gonna put in this black hole to give it some space. With the VST, you also get all of these artists' presets as well. So we got all of this just from that that banjo sound, which is like a real synthetic digital sounding banjo, and it still is kind of digital sounding. But let's take off the effects and we could remember what it sounds like. So just adding a little bit of effects on here, especially some delay and some of this black hole really kind of gives it a new feeling. Let's throw in some bass. I'll use Pro 1 here. I think our root note has changed. What note is this? So we're actually, I think our root note is C now. So I'm gonna change my the push to C, and what you'll notice on Live 11 that now, if you look down here, the clip is now in the scale of C mixolydian. You see that right down here? I'm gonna try to make right here. I wonder if we just put in a drone. Before I do that, I'm gonna put some of those H9 effects, maybe some mangled verb and crystals on those vocals. Mangled verb over here. Let's make this big. see what my levels are on Vocalise. It's really hot for some reason. I need new glasses, man. Can't see any of this small font anymore. Actually, it sounds okay. It seems okay now. The other thing that's cool, having the VST. Oh, you got the Noodler? Awesome! How do you like it? Shoots. I probably won't use the Noodler today because we've already got our pattern in here, but yeah, maybe I'll do it later on this week. Oh, it's already Friday. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow or sometime next week. But here's the cool thing about the VST and when you're using with live is that, you know, when you're thinking, what did I just do? Oh, it's the pitch. If you want some subtle movement, like this, you can always just go in and put in an LFO. I like putting the LFO real slow, just give some subtle movement, and then now what you can do is, let's do pitch A. We've mapped it to pitch A, and what you'll see right here, we can make it a little more extreme so you can see it. But now this LFO is modulating pitch A. And so now you can kind of fine tune this to, you know, to your taste. Right now it's a little, doing something like this is a little off pitch. But so actually maybe I won't map the pitch, but maybe I'll map the delay. And it's a little weird because I have it synced, but everything's going to be synced. But this is also a fun way to just kind of experiment with the VST. I like thinking of LFOs as kind of like an extra hand to twist knobs. Because unfortunately we're born with only two hands. And you know, you can only do so many things. So you see this knob is just kind of rocking back and forth. And then depending on your CPU, I mean, these LFOs actually don't take up too much CPU, but you can just put in as many as you want. So let's go ahead and map this to the size of our mangled verb. Where's size? And then to access all of that, you just have to press the triangle. Where's our size? Oh, here's size. So I want it to be real subtle. And you'll see that it actually kind of detunes, just like an analog reverb pedal would do. So it's really subtle, but you know, I think it gives something that we had listened to for a long time in a loop a lot more interest. And you could also, using the LFO, you could sync it to your DAW's tempo as well. But I like using hertz when I can to kind of just give it a more of an organic feel. Sometimes. It's actually kind of detuning it. Let's add some hi-hats. The snare is actually an open hat. I'm gonna change the pattern because this is the one we used, the kit is what we used yesterday. Make this kind of an 80s sound because you were just talking about OMD, so add a lot of reverb to that. Okay, so we spent a lot of time on our VSTs. We were thinking about bass, but I'm thinking about continuing on with some cool arpeggios, maybe with the Prophet 6, and then we can maybe come back and put in some bass. Let's find something. Actually, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the my factory preset list on the Prophet, and let's do a quick search. See if there's anything. What did we say? Today's landscapes, right? Let's see if there's anything that says landscape. No. Nature. Is there anything? Well, dreamscape. How about that? It's an Arpeggiator. 898. Let's see what that sounds like. It's really subtle. Let's use it. I mean, it's funny because this is an analog synth, but it sounds really digital. I'm gonna add some slop. The pattern a little bit. And just for fun, let's see if we just follow that same pattern that we created at the beginning. Let's see how that sounds. Kind of sounds like birds. Oh, I can't hear anything anymore. There we go. These are nice, but I'm gonna move them down an octave. Okay, and you know what? We didn't record any of these things as audio. So before we experience any glitches, let's go ahead and record everything as audio that we have. And all we did really was just use one MIDI pattern and add a bunch of effects. So I'm going to multi-select all of these, and we'll just get our 40 bars in there. I think it flows pretty well with a banjo. Let's see how many bars did we get so far. All right, we got 10 more bars. So I think we got it. For looping purposes, I want to make sure and this is the reason why I took 2 passes at it. I mean, I know with our VSTs, because we put in some of those effects that weren't on the grid, that we might have some weird loop points, but that's okay. So these all ended at 40. The 20th bar. Wait, let me make sure this is right. And 21. I'll move this thing back. Let's listen to the recorded parts. So I'm going to turn all the rest of these guys off. And you'll notice that we got all of our effects in there as well. These sound spooky now and slightly detuned, which I like. And then you hear all of the effects ringing out on this banjo part as well. Now that we have this one in audio format, let's put in some more H9. Since David, I know you're interested in the H9. We can add some chorus, micro pitch. Add a little bit of micro. Let's add. Actually, not quite sure what this undulator is, so let's try it. Oh, cool. Okay, this is dry. Oh, this sounds kind of trippy. I like that. It adds more of that, like a little flutter. And as you said, birds flying over the landscape. Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I get too, especially with this slight effect. I turned the mix down to 58%. Let's spread it across the stereo field. All right, yeah, let's just keep that on. And the great thing, if you have a powerful enough CPU, you're able to stack a lot of these guys together. Right now I'm at 30%, which is really good for me. Let's keep adding to the atmosphere before we put in the bass, because I'm just stalling. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this bass. Let's put in this Moog Matriarch because we didn't use it yesterday. Ooh, that's cool. I'm liking that. Everything is very detuned. Maybe it's easier to play it on the push. So right now the push is sending its MIDI signal over to the Matriarch. Let's just put something in. that's it. I'm just gonna keep all of those notes in there. Let's quantize. There was a couple. Oh, I think maybe right here is where we wanted to start. All of that detuning that you're hearing is the bucket brigade delay, BBD delay, stereo delay. So I'm actually running a Mac, so I got that the new M1 Max chip. So it is so much better than my 2012 Mac Mini that was running an i7 with 16 gigs of RAM. This one is running the M1 Max with 64 gigs of RAM. But what I've noticed is, well, take a look at my activity monitor. My CPU load is still pretty high, which I'm trying to figure out why. But I am running Ableton Live with several plugins, as well as now I'm using Streamlabs OBS, and I'm streaming to 3 different platforms. So I'm thinking that could be why. But if I'm not streaming, it just runs like a champ. Yeah, I'm a Mac guy. But if you look, I mean, I could have gotten away with probably 16 gigs of RAM, because I was thinking that I would need a lot of RAM to load up a bunch of VSTs, but it turns out I think RAM helps with if you've got a lot of those a lot of sample libraries, or you've got a lot of contact instruments that you want to put into RAM. But so the RAM now on these new M1 chips are the I guess is unified memory. So I thought actually a lot of my memory would be going to my graphics card, because I'm also running 2 external monitors. They're not 4K or anything, but yeah, I've got a ton of headroom for RAM. The only thing that will be great for this is for my live set, because with that I can load all of my tracks into RAM, and everything will be pretty seamless. Although I have to admit I haven't practiced in a long time, so I haven't practiced on this particular machine. But yeah. But so far I'm happy with it. I mean, there are some weird glitchy things. I think it's with the operating system with Monterey. Not compatible with a lot of things, but then also weird power things. Like I put the machine to sleep last night at 100%, and then I didn't want to keep it on battery, so I pulled the plug, and then when I woke up this morning, I was out of battery. And it turns out, I think, is because even while on sleep, Google Chrome takes up a lot of energy, and then I have everything's still plugged in. So all the peripherals, I think, are drawing power for some reason, even though they've got their own power source. But anyways, rant over. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, I enjoy working on a Mac. I think it's just what I'm used to now. I used to have an old Dell XPS when they were those gaming laptops. That was the last time I was on a PC. And that thing weighed, I think, probably 12 pounds. It was humongous, but it had 4 USB ports. I think it was still 1.0, but had 4 USB ports. It had like the joystick input, which kind of looks like the parallel port. It also had the big parallel port on the back, which I needed for my Cubase dongle. And then the joystick port was great because I had a MIDI interface that plugged into that. And at the time, I think it was Pentium 4. That thing was a beast, but you know, I was thinking, oh, I can be mobile and take this thing out and gig with it and make music at Starbucks or whatever. But that thing was so heavy, it broke my back. Oh, now I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put my quantize settings back to an 8 because my playing was, oh. Let's see. You know what? Let's go ahead and just record this in, and then we could manipulate the audio if there's any weird timing issues. Do you hear that? That's that stereo delay on the Moog still ringing out. Okay, let's just record this in. With this type of synth, you never know if it's gonna sound, how it's gonna sound the next time you run it. So right now I'm digging the detuned square wave. Okay, cool, David. Have a great coffee. And don't worry about interrupting me, dude. It's, I like interacting with people watching. Let that ring out. I want to record that as well, the tail, even though it's a little glitchy sounding. Okay. good. Let's see what our waveform looks like. Yeah, not too bad. We're getting a little bit of stereo effects in there, so I'm going to turn that channel off because I do hear some artifacts, audio artifacts. And now let's get to the Pro 1. I wonder if I could do something like this. Something like that. Let's see. So for now, let me just get the rhythm of the bass in, and then we could change up the notes. So I just press quantize so that I'm on the grid. Let me just make sure everything is all good. No. There we go. Okay, so let's find the right notes for each hit. Oops, you know what? I was off. My master tune was off, but okay. Let's just keep this a straight C. I don't even know if this is really a C because my master tune is off. I'm gonna move the knobs on my own, which is sort of a recipe for disaster, but hey, this is a morning pages and it's a good exercise in trying to be accurate with my fingers. All right, here we go. that 40 bars? No, not even close. That's okay. We'll do 28. And, oh. My levels are off. That's okay. And to make up or compensate for some of the movement issues, I'm gonna put in a Sound Toys Echo Boy. You hear it clipping a little? Yeah, there's a lot of clipping going on there. That was my bad because I actually, I don't know, can you see this on here? I have the volume turned all the way up on that Pro 1. That's why you see it kind of brick walling over there. For time's sake, I'm gonna keep it because at least I have the MIDI, so if I did want to go back and re-record this, I could. What else would this thing need? Well, why don't we just leave it at that? And we didn't put anything with modular. Let's see if we can. Let's see if a little drone would help. Or I know. How about this? How about some rings? Maybe something like that rings out like a bell? Like that? No, it sounds too much. Maybe something like this. Yeah. Okay, this is just some ambience, so I'm gonna record this in freestyle. Oh, actually, I take that back. I'm gonna record in some MIDI notes so that I can record in some modulation. A little loud. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna record this in, and I'm gonna change some parameters. I just want it to be subtle, so I don't want those bells ringing out. I increase the brightness and the and I lower the dampening, so that's why we're getting all the clangy. Let's get a drone in C using beads. Oh, or actually, what would happen if we put in a drone with plats? B flat. take off the reverb. There we go, there's C. Maybe something like this. And we can slowly morph it. Okay. Hey, welcome back, David. You're drinking coffee at this late hour? Because in the UK, isn't it like, is it 7 p.m., 9 p.m.? Right now it's 9:15 a.m. in Honolulu. But I gotta hand it to you. If you could drink coffee at night, that's awesome. I go to sleep early though, so. I'm loving this drone. So right now I've got Platts on its chord setting. And I'm gonna just I think I'm gonna... Oh, nice! I'm glad to hear that the sound is fine on YouTube. That's great. That's great news. Thanks for letting me know. What kind of hi-fi system do you have? Okay, I'm gonna record this drone in while I kind of mess with the morph of the chord and the timbre. And I don't want anything weird coming in, so I'm gonna just keep all of this. Keep beads tamed. There we go. Let's record this in. Okay, ready? It's not going to be this loud in the mix, but... Okay, things are getting weird with beads. So, how do I reset all this? I'm gonna just take it off the seed. We're not gonna have any of those weird artifacts coming in. All right, let's just do this straight up. Oh, cool. Nice system. Do you live in an apartment? Hopefully you don't have too many neighbor complaints, but I'm sure that sounds incredible. for a couple more minutes. Not minutes. Oh, nice. Dude, that sounds great. I just have to put on filters on my mic because I call the street I live on EMS Alley, just Emergency Medical Service Alley, because there's always ambulance, police, and fire engines coming down my street. That's good. So I think this part will just be real subtle, but I have to use this. I'll have to use that algorithm a little bit more. Okay, let's turn that off. Let's see what we have. Tracks that are try to get this mixed. Yeah, this is real subtle. All right, let's it's a little too loud right there. But let's make a little drum beat. Let me see if I can zoom in on the TR-8S. Make it a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. Maybe a little more subtle. Okay, so right now we're only on pattern A. I'm just trying to get a good bass going. Do we want to put in, yeah, let's put in some. Maybe we'll change up the open hat on a couple of the variations. Let's put in some. right, I'm gonna copy this over onto all 4 variations, so we get an 8-bar, or all 8, so we have an 8-bar loop. And then I'm gonna put in some variations. So I'm just gonna press copy A, variation A, and go across. And then I'm just got everything going here. And then maybe on B and F, which will be the 2nd and the 6th bar, we'll add some variation to the kick. And also with D. And I think maybe also with B and F, we're gonna or maybe not. A, we're going to put in our crash cymbal. And then maybe, I think on all variations, we'll put in a little ride cymbal. I'm doing this manually because I can't remember the shortcut for copying just one singular instrument. You don't have to be too careful on this because they're all kind of fading into the background anyway. Okay, so now that we have everything running, oh yeah, so this drum machine is the TR-8S. I'm thinking, since I'll be traveling again soon, the same exact drum machine is in a real small package called the TR-6S. The only thing is you don't get all of these knobs for each sound, so I'm debating, do I want portability or do I want the ability to not have to menu dive? But anyways, yeah, this is a TR-8S, great drum machine. They just came out with a new editor, which for me was a game changer in terms of being able to edit this. I'll show it to you. Although maybe it doesn't work on. It doesn't work right now. Let's see. Oh, it's coming through. But while that's going on, I'm gonna go to my master and I'm gonna turn on Ozone. And so David or anybody who's got this running on a hi-fi system, I would turn down your speakers because right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Ozone's master assistant to figure out the levels, and sometimes, I mean, just to give it some light mastering. And so sometimes what happens is you'll get these massive spikes in audio. So I actually take off my headphones as well while this is happening. But this is using Isotope's AI to determine kind of a mastering baseline. So I'm going to go ahead and put the destination as if we're putting it on a CD. And using this, you want to put in the loudest part of your song usually, like if you've got a finished song. And Ozone's going to go in and set some EQ levels. It'll set a maximizer and a limiter, and then you can go in and add some of the sparkle to it. So again, actually on my end, since I'm already hitting the red, I'm going to lower my mixer while this is happening. I'm gonna go ahead and let it run. Okay, so I'm just gonna accept it. There's not much of a difference. It did raise it. Raise the volume a bit. But there are a few things that I want to add. And you can see that I've got enough high end, I think because of using those VSTs. I've got too much low end, so the first equalizer it's going through is actually cutting a lot of this, this low end. And then there's a dynamic EQ that's kind of going in and taking these frequencies and it's lowering them for me. And then the maximizer, the threshold just only went down a little bit, and it's because this song is super loud at this point. And I'm going to take off my compressor and, on my master. I'm going to lower the master over here a bit, and then I'm going to add an exciter and an imager. And then, using the AI again, I'm going to have it learn the crossover points for the exciter and the imager. So I want all 4 frequency bands. And then you'll hear what it does. I like using this tape saturator. But also the triode's good, but let's use tape. Give this more of a little more of a older school vibe. And I'm gonna raise the amount on my high end, which you can hear right here. And you can hear it's adding a lot of that hiss. But I don't want too much of it. Because you'll see what happens if I add it to the low end. Listen to how much the low end distorts. You could barely hear it because it's hitting. There we go. Maybe just a little bit, and you'll really hear it in this big spectrum right here. So it's like really overdrive kind of, but. You hear it does sound like an overdriven or something that's recorded on tape that's being overdriven. And I like a little bit of that. This one's also going to raise that, but I want to put the mix down a little bit. And now when I bypass ozone, you'll really hear a difference. So this is our original. And then when we added that exciter, or when we added all the things that we have in ozone right now, it sounds like this. So it really kind of, and we haven't even widened the stereo field yet. Oh, I think, the way I learned it was just kind of trial and error. I also took some courses at the now defunct Dub Spot in New York. That's where I learned Ableton, and then I was able to network with a lot of musicians, and they were talking about ozone. Back then, I think it was ozone 6. I think I'm on 9, but they might be up to 10 now. But yeah, ozone is great if you're gonna do your own mastering. So I do all of my own mixing and mastering, which they say isn't the greatest idea, but I'm cheap, so. I just bought the ozone software and I just do it on my own. And really, it's good to learn what the tools do, but it's also great to just use your ear. I know there's a lot of talented musicians out there that don't even need like a mastering software. They could do everything in Ableton. And actually in Live 11, you get almost all of the tools you need to make a polished track. I'm talking like from the creation to the mixing and the mastering of it. So, but yeah, I like Ozone. Just because of that master assistant, it gives me a good starting point to master. And in fact, you know, I normally wouldn't do this on an unfinished song like this, but you know, you can play around with the exciter. I don't want that anymore. I'm undoing, undo. I don't mind that though. So now you hear the bypass version. But you can hear it brings out a lot of the sounds that were otherwise hidden in the mix. Now, iZotope also has a mixing program that you can put on each track. It's called Neutron. Right? Is it called Neutron? I think it's called Neutron. And if you put it on each track, you can also look at some masking. So what I like doing before I finish a track is putting Neutron on my kick drum bus and on my bass. And then I like to see which frequencies are kind of fighting with each other. And you could kind of move the bass track over a bit and let the kick drum have its own space, and there's a smaller amount of crossover, which helps with like the muddiness. But right now I'm just using Ozone as if this has already been mixed. And then so for Imager, I like to add a little bit of width to it as well, especially to the high end. I like kind of spreading it out. And this is a little more subtle, but you can kind of hear it if you've got headphones on. And I like to actually narrow my stereo width on my low end, because I don't want it to be all over the place, like that. So I lower it. So this is kind of extreme, but I'm gonna raise it. Raise the, and now let's listen to it. And see, this is all gain matched too, so it's not a matter of the original version being quieter. If this is gain matched, which you can do right here, you just press gain match, and then you can bypass and kind of compare what Ozone is doing. So you see, now it feels a lot wider and more spacious. And a lot of that is thanks to that exciter that's adding actually it's adding some digital distortion to it, but very, very slight. And the Imager, which is kind of widening certain certain frequencies. Oh, cool. Yeah, send over your list or ask them in the chat. Let me do this again. Okay. So now that we got that running, I'm gonna bring my drum track over, and then I'm gonna get MIDI. So this is how you record MIDI from an external, like if you have an external sequencer. I got my MIDI from, my default is my push 2, so I can, if I arm it, and I can play. There is a lot of latency now because Ozone's on there. That's why I wait to put everything on to the end. So this might be interesting. Let me turn off ozone for a second. I still have latency. That's interesting. Where are my settings? 256. Okay. And actually, I gotta say, with the new M1, I'm able to kind of go down to maybe 64 samples, and everything sounds pretty good. Of course, I've got a lot of things going on right now, so that's not really working out. I'm gonna go back to 256 since we're already at the towards the end. And then all I want to do is go in and record everything that I programmed. So I'm going to maybe record 16 bars. So in order to do that, I need MIDI from my TR-8S. And it's because I have my TR-8S hooked up via USB to this session. And so it shows up in my drop-down list from MIDI from. And all I got to do is press record. And you see there was like a huge amount of, I need to change some of my settings, and you're gonna hear a doubling as we're recording because it's ping-ponging back and forth. So what I'm going to do here is we'll go ahead and change this loop up. Set 1-1 here. See if there's a little bit of quantization needed. And then what I'll have to do here is I'm going to clear out all of my parts. Oh, weird. What's going on? Review slot recording. See, I actually should have recorded these in before I put ozone on there. I think that's what's kind of messing me up. So these guys actually need to be back here. Okay, I think now we're good. There we go. So if you're using hardware, and because this is a new computer, I haven't been able to go in and change my settings from my old computer, which is why I've got kind of a weird start point. I'm gonna add a little roll here at the end. Oh wait, no, that's not where I want to add the roll. Although we can keep that. Where's my... crash symbol. You see, I have a lot of latency right now. I gotta figure out why. Why can't I find my hi-hat? Oh, because I'm on scale. So obviously scale shouldn't be used on a drum track because you'll hide a lot of the tracks that you're gonna need. So it looks like I forgot to put open hats in, sorry, closed hats. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my little trick where I'm just pulling this across. And David, this is kind of a cool trick for on Ableton Live. You hear that hi-hat coming through? Well, you can open up this chance lane, select the MIDI notes that you want, and you can pull it down so that at this point I'm having it trigger maybe 54% of the time. So now it's not as straightforward. And then what I'll also do is I'll change my grid to 30-second notes. And I'm going to put a little roll here. Okay, and you'll see that there is latency. So I'm going to move that down a little bit. Okay, and just kind of make sure everything's good. Let me turn on ozone again, so now you'll hear the full sound. All right, now I'm just going to take all of those parts, all of the audio that we recorded. I'm going to turn everything else off, and then to save on some CPU, I can actually turn off all of these VSTs since we've already recorded them in. LFOs don't take up that much, but, or I think I can just select them all and turn them off? Yeah. Okay, so let's move all of these over to arrangement and put these together. Yeah, so I've got a couple of different things going on. The TR-8S, because it has MIDI via USB, I have that directly connected to a hub, as that's the same case with the Matriarch. And most of the synths that have USB interface, the ones that don't, are going through, actually, from your neck of the woods, there's a company called Kenton, and I've got a through 12 here. So I've got, so with the through 12, I can put in one MIDI in, which is coming from the RME Babyface, which is connected via Live. So I can select that as my MIDI output from Live and from any of these devices, actually any of them. And then there are 12 outputs that will send MIDI signal with no, I guess, what do they call that? It's not latency, but it's, yeah, it's a really fast connection. That's why I went with the Kenton box. I don't know what they call it. I think they filter out a lot of noise and all of that. And Aaron MIDI signals. And then so you have 12 outputs. So then I can select either through the patch bay or through Live's interface which synth I want to listen to. using those outputs. All right, so let's listen to every sound and let's go ahead and label them. That's our drum. This one's our Moog. Moog lead. This one is our Prophet Sparkle, and that is from 898. This one's our bass line down here. It's real echoey. Might be a little muddy, but that's okay. Pro 1 bass line. This is Rings. Rings Atmos. This one here is our Flats. Chord Ambience. This one's our VST. This one is Vocalise. Vocalise main pads. Oh, this is our banjo. This is our Korg Wave Station banjo with FX. And then, so actually, so what we're gonna need to do is, let me bring in the Prophet and the pads and the banjo. These are all kind of synced up with one another. So what I'm going to do is let me consolidate them right now. Have a sip of coffee while that happens, and then we can just kind of copy and paste those across. Make sure that they're all in sync. Although another idea is kind of stagger them and then see if that works. That's a good way of experimenting. So that's not like really straightforward. So we can actually try that. But for this exercise, let's go ahead and just copy these guys across, and then we could just bring them in and out of the mix when we want. So what do you think? Is a 3-minute song too long for this exercise? We'll just do 2 instances. And then everything else is pretty straightforward. So let me get a couple of instances of that. And then I think I'm going to start off with the little 4 on the floor. So I'm going to select all, press 0 to deactivate everything except for the kick and for my crash cymbal. And then we can kind of see what else we would want to put in. I think the Moog lead will come in during a break. So maybe that'll come in at 24. Let me put a little locator here. Break 1. Bass line won't come in until maybe the 5th bar. The atmosphere could come in a little bit later. Oh, actually, maybe the atmosphere comes in during the break. Let's see, this could actually be a little bit longer song. So let's duplicate that. And then now, again, this is kind of like copy and paste. This is a little bit more like an Excel exercise. And what I'll do is we could take out the atmosphere and then maybe bring it back in, the rings part at least, towards the end after our lead, so they're not clashing. Let's see what we have so far. Oh. And this bass has too much decay on it. I'm thinking the sparkle doesn't even come in here until the break. The banjo could wait until, let's see. Oh yeah, banjo could come in. We've got our effects on there, that's why it's ringing out. I'm gonna Command E on that and then bring in the open hats here. Bass line won't come in until here. Close that up. And then on this one, we won't even bring in the snare yet. Let's see. Okay, so that's our first break. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in a little cymbal crash. Let me recolor that because we'll be using that again. Let's let this break go until maybe around here. Okay, so I see that we've got a pretty abrupt ending here. I am going to give it a little bit better transition. I know. We won't even bring in these yet. And then I'm wondering if on this one we bring in our and we let this thing kind of ride it out. And then to give some variation, let me put in a couple more snares. Let's see. And then actually here, I'm gonna take all of this out except for the these snares. And then maybe we can get a little... Let's see. I don't need any of that. Let's see how this sounds. About like this. Oh, I know. And break. Oh, you know what we didn't also... What I want to put in are some hits from the radio. Let me see if there's something that we have already done that we can put in. Okay, I'm gonna find some samples to add. Oh, cool. The Vocalise Mini Hub, 4 in, 4 out. Yeah, it's really handy to have it via USB, right?
I wonder if Miss Lane would mind accompanying me instead. Well, you see, my eyesight is rather poor, and in this darkness
Well, all right, I'll go with you.
Yeah, let's use this one. Let's use these three. Oh, they fit perfectly in my breaks. So I don't even know what they're saying, but let's put these in.
I wonder if Miss Lane would mind accompanying me instead. Well, you see, my eyesight is rather poor, and in this darkness
Well, all right, I'll go with you.
Good. Here's the plan. And here's my flashlight, Miss Lane. Call out to me if you find it. Oh, yes, you're in production. And we can start right here the same way. To the time indication for the section. I wonder if Miss Lane would mind accompanying me instead. Well, you see, my eyesight is rather poor, and in this darkness
Well, all right, I'll go with you.
Good. Here's the plan. And here's my flashlight, Miss Lane. Call out to me if you find it. Oh, yes, you're in production. And we can start right here the same way. To the
I'm gonna lower the mix of that delay. Hear the difference with and without ozone? So here's without ozone. And with just adds so much. Let's hear what these samples do. I don't know about this. This sample right here isn't that great.
What those things are.
Oh, my goodness gracious. This is really dead here.
But I would like to help. I'm a doctor where I came from. Perhaps I could do something. That, Your Majesty, is how I found your world and the way to enter it. It's interesting.
This might be interesting. Let's see.
That, Your Majesty, is how I found your world and the way to enter it. It's interesting. At one time I would have said amazing. And with our discoveries what the world around us is now only interesting.
I've warned Dr. Sassoon to return to his own universe, or he calls victims of plague.
Yes, Miss Williams, but I would like to help. I'm a doctor where I came from. Perhaps I could do something. I fear it is useless. Found those brilliant physicians of powers to make diagnosis. But I would like to help. I'm a doctor where I came from. Perhaps I could do something. I fear it is useless. Found those brilliant physicians of powers to even make...
He found a way of reaching it.
How about this? Right when the drums cut out here. Outro. And then I guess this is like a mini outro. Just kicks. Maybe between here.
He found a way of reaching it. With this, been unable to reach the earth.
Yes, there's the reason why the season. I can't return home, so at least make an attempt. Very well. As you wish.
Take out those maybe it all ends right here for everything. That's the end right here. At 101. Then we can just sort of raise the our return delay. This one actually doesn't need too much, I don't think, because we have some... Oh, we have the external audio effect on there. No wonder. I'm gonna turn that off. I actually don't mind how this is sounding a little weird. Let's let it fade in with some extreme return, reverb, and delay. Let me turn down the volume a bit. Actually, right, I want to start turning down the volume around here.
Very well. As you wish.
Taking out those claps right now.
He found a way of reaching you. This way has been unable to reach the airplane.
Yes, yes, daughter. You
Oh.
reason wisely.
Actually, maybe having the claps in this one's okay, but not this one. And I'm gonna lower the claps on.
He found a way of reaching you. This way has been unable to reach the airplane.
Yes, yes, daughter. You reason wisely. Wouldn't be the season.
No, I don't like them.
He found a way of reaching you. This way has been unable to reach the airplane.
Oh,
Yes, daughter.
good question, David. So, it depends. You know, like any sample that you get that you don't record on your own is subject to pretty much anything. I don't know if it's the same in the UK. I'm sure it is. But a lot of the things that I find on radio programs, if it's older than, I think it's something like 80 or 60 years or something like that. I'm not a lawyer, first of all, so I can't give any legal advice, but I know that a lot of those old radio programs are now public domain. So that's why what I do is I write everything down, first of all, especially if it's a sample that I like. So I write down the radio program. When you look in the radio app, it will actually give you a lot of that information. So I don't have it on right now, but like this one, for example, is called Summer Campfire Screams, God of the Razor. So I'll write that down, and it'll sometimes even have the year. What I found is that most of what's on like old time radio and a lot of my other favorite stations that I've saved, I've looked them up, and most of them are on are considered public domain, so you can use them. I think there's also something that where you have to cite it and everything, but then the radio app also has a lot of other radio stations on there with copyrighted information that you would definitely need to clear, and that includes things like nature sound. So I had uploaded something where I used a radio station called, I think it's called Nature Sounds, and it was just rain and thunder. So I just had that in the background, and YouTube actually caught it saying, oh, there's copyrighted information in this stream. However, the copyright holder has allowed this for some kind of public use. However, you can't make money off of it. So yeah, it was weird. It was a really, really quiet raindrops in the background with some thunder, but YouTube's copyright robot was able to find it and then attribute it actually to the person who created it, which is probably a good thing, right? As artists. But again, you always have to be careful when using samples, especially if you're going to release it or put them on a platform like YouTube. And I will say that I haven't gotten any copyright strikes on Twitch or YouTube. The only thing that'll happen is, it'll say a portion of your video has been muted. Like one time I kind of went through some radio stations, and that's why I don't really scroll through the radio app while I'm streaming online, because even if it catches a second worth of like Taylor Swift's newest track, YouTube will scan the whole 2-hour video music making session and then say, hey, we detected you're using Taylor Swift's music. This whole entire video is no longer qualifies for ad revenue. So you always just have to be careful. Anyways. Oh, is it 1924? Okay. Yeah, but I think there are some radio programs that have been put on as public domain, or people will release things that are on these radio stations that are of public domain. But that's good to know. All right, so I think we're done. I'm just going to go ahead and record this in, and this will be on SoundCloud. So thanks for dropping by, and yeah, David, I'm stoked you were able to come and watch this on YouTube live. That's the reason why I thought expanding my reach above and beyond Twitch would be a good thing. Although I love Twitch also, so but yeah, I wasn't making anything on there. So okay, let's go ahead and record this in, and we'll call it a day, and tune in again tomorrow, maybe a little later than usual because it's the weekend. I'll be sleeping in, or I'll try to be sleeping in. And yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. Just gonna make these a little smaller so you can see everything. And I'm gonna try to raid. So if you're on Twitch, I'm gonna see if this works while multi-streaming. So stay tuned for that if you're on Twitch. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Aloha.
I wondered if this land would mind accompanying me instead. Well, see, my eyesight is rather poor, and in this darkness well, all right, I'll go. Good. Here's the plan. And here's my flashlight display. Call out to me if you find anything. Oh, yes, sure, it's fantastic. And we can start right here, I think.
Very well. As you wish.